wizard. You're a hero, and you look great.
Hello everyone, welcome to the new video of Wizard Concepts of Mathematics. So we're already done with quadratic equations. So we just stepped into sequences series. So this will be the very first video of sequences series. Like we don't feel that we don't have that many concepts of in quadratic thing we have nearly 5 videos or 6, I don't remember correctly, but in sequences series we'll be just limiting that to 3 or 4 videos. Like there are not that important concepts, but still there are some of the concepts which actually play a vital role in solving the problems and also making the problems easier for us. Okay, so in the Olympiad perspective or any other exam perspective also, and also in learning mathematics also, it's quite fun, seeing some things into the into easier things. Okay, like converting the toughest things into easier things and then solving them. So it's actually a very good process to handle or tackle difficult questions. So let's start our today's session. So this will be the very first video of sequences and series. So they have not written don't tested anything here. So I'll just start explaining some theorems first of all. So I'll just use some reading. Yeah, so an important the theorem 1, I would name it as theorem 1. Okay, I would name it as theorem 1. So what is the theorems? What the theorem actually says is, like, if a and b are two numbers, okay, a and b are two numbers which are real and positive. So please do remember all these conditions, nor this doesn't work. Two real, positive and distinct numbers. Okay, two real, positive and distinct numbers. And if we assume a and g to be arithmetic and geometric means of them, arithmetic and geometric means of a and b. Okay, a and g are respectively arithmetic and geometric means of a and b. Then okay, then comes the theorem. Then first point is, okay, the first point is a and b are roots of a and b are roots of x square minus 2ax plus g square is equal to 0. Okay, so a and b will be the roots of this equation. So this is a quadratic equation, so it's x square minus 2ax plus g square is equal to 0. So this will be, a and b will be the roots of this equation. And second point, second thing is, I would say second thing, a will be greater than a g. Many people know this, like we usually use this arithmetic mean is greater than geometric mean, but thing is some people don't know how it actually came. And also it's not that, like, it's very very important. We use it in every instance, every problem solving instance, nor some problem doesn't even solve even without using this. So but I'll just prove these two so that it gives you a handy experience. And also like many people don't know this. And third thing why I have put this into my video is this I would consider as a wizard concept in sequence and series, because the first point, this will just blow your mind, because like we can just relate them in this way, so that we don't need to do multiple steps while finding some mathematic mean or something like that. We can just use this quadratic equation and get those values. So that's the reason I just put this in this wizard concepts of mathematics. So coming to the proof of this, let a is the arithmetic mean, so a is basically a plus b divided by 2, isn't it? And g is root ab, because g is the geometric mean of a and b. So ab is g square and a plus b is 2a, isn't it? So we know that like in a quadratic equation, because we have two terms, that's the reason we are like two things, a and b. So that's the reason we are using a quadratic equation. That's only thing. Like you can even form a cubic equation where you find only two roots, a and b, and the other root can be just imaginary. Okay, you can even do that in that way. So like, yeah. So starting from here, we have a plus b is equal to 2a and ab is equal to g square. So the thing would be the quadratic equation. If I assume a and b are its roots, then it would be x square minus a plus b into x plus ab is equal to 0, isn't it? This would be my quadratic. So just substitute those values. So x square minus 2ax plus g square is equal to 0, isn't it? So this is my quadratic equation. So while just solving them, we can get x is equal to 2a plus or minus, yeah, 2a plus or minus 4a square minus 4g square divided by 2. So we would get 2a plus or minus, you can just take 2 like 2 out, 2 common, and this becomes a plus z into a minus z divided by 2. Okay, this is what you want to get. So it's a plus or minus root over a plus z into a minus z. So this is the this is the x. So what is our x? A and b, isn't it? So one a can be a plus root over a plus z into a minus z, and other so the b can be a minus root over a plus z into a minus z. So you can just interchange these values in this way. And for the second point, we have just proved this. For the second point, a greater than or a greater than g. For that, see now here in this bracket, for this root to be existing, root a plus z into a minus b a minus g should be greater than or equal to 0, isn't it? So a plus z into a minus z should be greater than or equal to 0, isn't it? As a and b are both positive numbers, so a and g will always be greater than 0. So a plus g will always be greater than 0. So I only need to think about this, isn't it? I only need to think about this. So a minus z should be greater than or equal to 0. So a should be equal like greater than or equal to g. But why am I telling only a greater than g is because we have also assumed that a and b are distinct numbers, isn't it? A and b are distinct numbers, they are not the same. So definitely a should be like arithmetic mean cannot be equal to geometric mean. So a should be greater than g. So this is our second theorem. So we have also proved this point also. So like theorem 1, second point. So this is how you deal it. So first thing, we have found that these are the roots of it, and then we have found the individual value of a and b. So for that to be existing, this inside the root, the term inside the root should be well defined. So that's the reason we have done in this way. So this is the theorem. So I'll just step into the theorem number 2. I hope you guys understood this. This is not like it's not a difficult task. You can just use it in your problem solving like in like it can just minimize your time, and also it gives you extra information rather than just using the conventional method and all. And this is I'll just name it as theorem 2. Yeah, theorem 2. And yeah, what color did I use here? Blue. Yeah. So what does it states is, again there are again there are 2 points that I would like to mention. AGH, okay, AGH form a GP, okay, AGH form a GP, that is G square will be equal to, yeah, G square will be equal to A into H, where A is the arithmetic mean of A and B, G is the geometric mean of A and B, H is the harmonic mean of A and B. So G square would be equal to A into H. And second point is, we have already proved that A is greater than G. So I can just prove, there is also another condition that G should be greater than H. Okay. So A is greater than G. So G will be greater than H. So I'll just prove it. These are very, very easy things. But there's another important theorem after this, theorem 3, that I would name. That will be very, very interesting. So let's get into the proofs first. Yeah. for the first point, a is a plus b by 2, right? A is a plus b by 2, g is root ab, and h is 2ab divided by a plus b. I hope you know, but you guys know this all formulas. So you just multiply a into h. A into h is a plus b divided by 2 into 2ab divided by a plus b. So it's ab, which it's just nothing but g square, right? So this is an easy proof. Basically it's not an important theorem, but you can use it. You'll find any number of problems where you'll be using this theorem. And this is how we have proved the first point. And coming to the second point, we already know that a is greater than g. We have already proved it. So a by g will be greater than 1, isn't it? A by g will be greater than 1. And also now if you substitute g square is equal to ah, okay, g square is equal to ah, if you substitute that, or if you substitute a is equal to g square by h, okay, one and the same. So if you substitute that, you get g square by h into g to be greater than 1. So you get g by h to be greater than 1. So g is greater than h. So this is how you prove this. So a, as g is greater than h and g is less than a, so you get this: a is greater than g greater than h. So this is the proof of point 2 of theorem 2. So I hope you guys understood this. So we'll just move on to the theorem 3 quickly. So this is a very, very important theorem, very good theorem. Like many people, I can be sure that many don't know this, so they can just be like they'll be happy after knowing this. If a and g, okay, I'll just state the theorem with blue ink. If a, g, h are geometric, arithmetic, geometric, harmonic means of a and b. A and b are two, again the same thing, like this time a and b and c, okay, a and b and c, okay. And then yeah, I'll just use this. Then x cube minus 3ax square plus 3g cube by h into x minus g cube equals to 0. Okay, so ABC will be the roots of this equation. ABC will be the roots of this equation. So this is how you get it. So yeah, so ABC you can just find while solving this equation. Okay, so this is a very, very important theorem. Like you can just use it whenever it's possible. Like if they will give you a, g, h, and if they ask you to find those numbers, instead of solving those equations and getting the value, you can just use it, because we have 3 numbers here, so it will be difficult for us. Rather we can just solve this cubic equation, so it would be very, very easy. So I don't like, proof is not very big important, but still I'll explain it. So a is a plus b plus c divided by 3, isn't it? A is a plus c divided by 3, and j is a b c whole power 1 by 3, because g is geometric mean, and h is 3 divided by 1 by a plus 1 by b plus 1 by c, which is 3 abc divided by AB plus BC plus CA, isn't it? Yeah, AC. So I'll just move on to the next page. So H value we got it to be 3ABC divided by AB plus BC plus CA. And what is ABC? We have got that to be g cube, right? So just substitute that. So 3g cube divided by AB plus BC plus CA, which is equal to H. Okay guys, so this is what we have got. And now AB plus BC plus CA is equal to 3g cube by H. And a plus b plus c, you can even remember that that's 3a, and abc is equal to g cube. So if I need to find a cubic equation whose roots are a, b, c, I can just put it in this way, right? X cube minus a plus b plus c into x square plus ab plus bc plus ca into x minus A, B, C is equal to 0, isn't it? This is my cubic equation. So just substitute those values. So you get x cube minus 3ax square plus 3g cube by h into x minus g cube should be equal to 0. Okay, so this is our cubic equation. Sorry for the mistakes. Yeah, this is our cubic equation. So just solving this, we would get the answer. So this is a very, very important theorem, as like in my concern, like it will just blow the minds of many people. You can just solve it within seconds. Solving a cubic is not that difficult. So yeah, and I would just wanted to mention some proof, like uh, the name of it is geometrical proof state of like geometrical proof stating that a is greater than g is greater than h. This is only an additional point. It's not required for like to see it, but it actually provides you an extra knowledge and also extra frame of reference, like how we can actually see the things. So let me first draw the coordinate axis. Yeah, and so please assume this to be a semicircle. Don't mind. I know it's not a semicircle, but still let us just assume it. Oh my god. Yeah, some sort of relief for me. And now consider a straight line through the origin, like it must be a tangent to it. Yeah, somewhat the yeah, you can just assume that to be a tangent, and I'll just name those things. So this is T, you can just mention it, and this is A, this is M, and this is C is a center. Okay, C is a center, and you can just drop a perpendicular line from here. Okay, you can just drop a perpendicular line from here, and so it's perpendicular, so you can just assume that to be in this way, and it is M. Okay, and you can even join these lines. T and C. Okay, you can even join this. Yeah, you can just join this T and C also. And what I would be saying is this I would name it as yeah, this I would name it as O. So this is our y-axis, this is our x-axis. So OA, okay, OA is A units. Okay, this OA is A units. I will just use a different sort of yeah, let's use pink. A units. So OA is A units and OB is B units. Okay, OA is A units, OB is B units, and C is the center of the semicircle, and AB is the diameter of the semicircle. So now we are drawing a tangent OT to the circle, and TM is the perpendicular to the AB. Okay, OT is a tangent to the semicircle, OT is the tangent to the semicircle, and from T, TM is perpendicular to AB. Okay, from T we have dropped the perpendicular to the AB. Okay guys, so this is how you write it. And now C is the center of the semicircle. So just for the like avoiding confusion, I'm writing all this. C is center of semicircle. So obviously I will just move on to the next page. OA plus OB divided by 2 can be written as OC minus AC plus OC plus CB divided by 2, isn't it? We have just taken the reference of OC. So OC minus AC plus OC minus OC plus CB is nothing but OA plus OB and divided by 2. So which is nothing but you can just cancel the terms like it's because AC is equal to CB, isn't it? Because C is the center of the circle, so AC would be equal to CB. So these terms would be cancelling, right? This will be cancelling. So you get OC, isn't it? So OA plus OB divided by 2, you will get that to be OC. And now other thing which is left is you can just put this in this way. So I can just write it in this way that OC would be equal to A plus B divided by 2, because our OA is A and OB is B, so OC is A plus B by 2. And let us assume that, okay, let us assume that OC to be A, because our A and B are the numbers, right? A and B are the like the real numbers we are taking. So A and B by 2 is basically arithmetic mean. So A is the OC is what we are getting, A plus B by 2. So it's nothing but the arithmetic mean. And from the other thing that you can see here, from here using the circle theorem, OT square will be equal to OA into OB. I hope you guys remember this. This is actually there's a name to this. I just forgot this theorem. It actually like this theorem actually states that if a tangent is drawn from and if it intersects at point like intersects at some point in the circle, then the distance square will be equal to the endpoints distance multiplying between like the endpoint distance is OA is the distance and OB is the distance. Like A is the endpoint of the diameter, B is the endpoint of the diameter. So you just need to multiply those distances from where your origin is being originated. From here my tangent is being like tangent is being originated. From here my tangent is drawn. So I will just take OT square to be equal to OA into OB. Okay. So just keeping that, I'll just write that. So OT square will be equal to OA into OB. And what is A? OA, it's A. And what is OB? It's B. So OT square is equal to A into B. So OT is equal to root AB, which is nothing but G, right? So A and B are two numbers. So root AB will always be equal to geometric mean of that. So OT is equal to geometric mean. And now the actual theorem comes into the play. Okay. Now you can just see that similar triangles OCT, okay, OCT and OMT. OCT and OMT, because we have a right angle here, we have a right angle here, we have a right angle here also, same distance OT, like we have the same thing. So we can use we can use the RHS and just prove that this two are just similar triangles. Like you don't even need to prove all those things, because we are not proving any congruency, we just need to prove the similarity. So these are similar triangles because we have a right angle in between them, and also we have the same OT common to these things. So I'll just mention those triangles. So the similar triangles are OCT and OMT. Okay, these are the similar triangles. Now we can just say that OM divided by OT will be equal to OT divided by OC, isn't it? So I'll just write it here so that it gives an extra clarity. OM divided by OT will be equal to OT divided by OC, isn't it? Because what is your OM here? OM is the base and OT is your right angle, it's the, you can just say the hypotenuse of it. So in the same fashion, OT is the base, OC is the hypotenuse of a OCT triangle. Okay, so we have just mentioned it in this way: base divided by hypotenuse. Okay, base divided by hypotenuse. So in this triangle, in this triangle, OM is the base, OT is the hypotenuse, and in the OCT triangle, OT is the base, OC is the hypotenuse. So we just mentioned it in that way. So when you just cross multiply, or you can just put it in this way: OM will be equal to OT square divided by OC, isn't it? OM will be equal to OT square by OC. And what is OT square? It is a geometric mean, so it's actually AB. And what is OC? A plus B divided by 2. You can just infer it from here, isn't it? OC is A plus B divided by 2. So AB divided by A plus B by 2, which is equal to 2AB by A plus B. So we have got OM, which is our arithmetic harmonic mean, isn't it? So OM will be our H. So OM is the harmonic mean of this. And you can just see from the figure, that OC is a center point. So OC will be greater than OT will be greater than OM, because in this triangle OCT, OC is your hypotenuse and OT is your base. So definitely OC will be greater than OT, isn't it? OC will be definitely greater than by like always be greater than OT, because OC is the hypotenuse of OCT. So definitely OC will be greater than OT. And come to the triangle OMT. In the OMT, OT is the hypotenuse. So definitely OT will be greater than the base OM. So you can just directly come to the conclusions that I'll use a different thing. You can just directly come to the conclusions that OC is greater than OT is greater than OM. Okay, OC is greater than OT is greater than OM. So which is nothing but arithmetic mean is greater than geometric mean is greater than harmonic mean. I hope you guys understood this. So this is how you actually prove it in geometrical way, using a semicircle and using distances will always be positive, and also the A and B are our numbers, right? This is A and this is B. So A and B are the numbers which are always positive because they are the distances, and they are distinct because OA is not equal to OB. So definitely they are distinct. So this is how you do it in a geometrical way. So this is also very good thing to learn, like in a different perspective. I hope you guys enjoyed this. So I'll be coming up with a new problem. I've not been uploading any video till now, so I'll just continue that. Sorry for the break in between. I'll just try to continue the things once again. I'll just resume the videos once again. So stay tuned. Tomorrow I'll be coming up with an exciting problem. Thank you.